Yeah, that was a gutsy performance. Certainly wasn't pretty, but really just proud of the group to find a way to get a point out of the game. That game could have gone a different direction at a lot of different moments, but Alec makes the big save with the PK, and they're throwing numbers forward down a man to end the game, and the way we defended the box and found a way to get a point was a credit to the group on the field, these players, for fighting through some tough conditions.
Pat, I guess I'll start here. How people interpret a draw is a matter of perspective. Atlanta probably feels a little bit differently about it than you do right now. Let me ask you that. How does it feel, just given the circumstances coming in, circumstances throughout the match,
right?
And then, but also probably some chances that went begging. Where are you at on the scale of what this is worth?
It's a good point, certainly based on how we performed over the course of the 98 minutes of the game. I thought in the first half, too often we were playing direct and we weren't confident enough to keep the ball on the ground and look to play through the middle or around. We were relying on the direct play and we weren't having enough success and we weren't able to push our line. So they were picking up second balls and then finding the flanks and really putting us on our heels. So having said that, I think there were some really good chances in transition. We had certainly our opportunities to get a goal in that first half, a couple dangerous set piece opportunities, but we don't find the goal. They certainly had their chances as well. So, in the second half, I don't think we really found a rhythm, up until the red card. Again, just too direct and the spacing wasn't right as far as how we could, play forward with more consistency and move our lines. Having said that, there's some guys, with Dom on the left, just the amount of defending that he had to do, it was hard for him to consistently be in the attack. So, it was overall a tough night with the ball for us. But then what I said is these are nights where you have to figure out how to defend the right way and how to defend as a team to get something out of the game. And I think we did that.
You pretty much beat me to my next question, which was going to be, did you, things obviously got crazy, probably around the 60th minute. Then Nick goes off not too long after. Prior to that, though, did you come in with a plan to really play?
Right.
And did you play as much as you wanted to?
We did not play as much as I would have liked. Okay. I think, it was a combination of, in the first half, a lot of little moments, 50-50 opportunities that went their way, a majority of the half. And so that's the difference between us, pushing forward with the ball or having to defend. And too many of those moments we had to defend. And so, we were pinned in, and again, they spaced the field well. They got quality with the ball. And in the moments where we defended, in our defensive third of the field and did win the ball, too often we lost or were careless in transition moments where I think we could have really had some space to move forward and put them under pressure and create in transition. So no, overall we didn't perform well enough with the ball. But again, what we didn't do well with the ball, I think we made up for with the defensive performances. I'm sure others are going to ask maybe about individual performances. I'll probably beat you to that, but Ian Murphy stepping in, having not trained with the starting group all week, with Jeff taking the knock yesterday, steps in and has a fantastic game. Really proud of Ian. John Nelson, first minutes, comes in, has to deal with, Lennon, with Araujo running at him. His 1v1 defending was excellent. Really pleased with him. I mentioned Dom, what we asked out of him. It was a gutsy performance from Dom, and then Alec makes the big save. So.
And you're absolutely right. I think you're about to get peppered with questions about individuals, but I'll ask you a big picture one. Is this the kind of result that can spur this team on to more, or is that overstating what we just saw?
I don't think it's overstating it. I said to them, a lot of the guys individually on the field, it's little moments like this that, that have you believing as a group that things are going in the right direction. Again, that could have very easily been a loss, but for various reasons it wasn't. And so that's the sign of the group moving in the right direction.
All right, go ahead, Laurel.
Thank you. And yeah, you did beat me to my question. I was going to ask about those. You basically we're down 3 starters on the back line, but let's talk about Ian Murphy specifically, because I know his last start probably wasn't what he hoped it would be even. Just what specifically, what did you see from him today, and just how he grew?
Well, yeah, first off, you mentioned his last start. I put him in a tough position in Orlando for his first professional minutes. So that was a tough task. Tonight he was in a more natural position, and I thought he was excellent. In dealing with balls behind, crosses in the box, as 1v1 defending. He had a very strong performance. Could have been a little bit more calm on the ball in a couple moments, but that's natural. Again, this is a tough place to play, and to have to step into that spot, on short notice and have that performance. We were really pleased with Ian, and I think you could see, the reaction of his teammates after the game and going up to him, because they knew he was a big part of us walking away with a clean sheet and a point.
And then you mentioned Alec making the save on the PK, but he also had some other really strong saves. Just obviously him coming back to Atlanta, we talked about that this week, but was that just kind of the performance you expected from him tonight?
It was. Again, you don't expect him to make a save on a PK, but he did. He made a big play for us. But I think his composure, over the course of the game was strong, and made some good plays coming off his line. Dealing with runners in the box and coming out for crosses on set pieces. He was just really strong, all game long.
And then just with seeing Brad Guzan go down the way he did, I know we talk about turf and field conditions and weather and all kinds of things, but I guess just I'm kind of wondering, because it did look like some of the touches just were a little off tonight. Did you have any thoughts on just the condition of the field?
It is what it is. There's turf fields in our league, unfortunately. I don't like it. I don't think anybody out there necessarily does. You'd rather be on grass. It's unfortunate what happened to Brad. He's a really good player, a good person, a good pro. So you never want to see that with any player. So hopefully, it's a quick recovery. And I know that it probably isn't going to be. I haven't gotten the diagnosis. Looked like an Achilles, but overall, it's just tough to see that for any player, especially somebody like Brad, who has meant so much to to this league and our national team and Atlanta. So you feel for him. As far as the conditions of the field and how it impacts the game, yeah, it's tough. The ball's not moving, fast in a lot of ways. It checks up in strange ways, and so it's always difficult to feel out the way a ball's going to move on this surface.
All right, last one for you, Pat, because we have to go.
Yeah.
Open Cup on Tuesday against Pittsburgh. Your thoughts ahead of that matchup?
Yeah, we'll see how guys recover over the next couple of days. We're obviously thin on bodies, but we have an idea of what that group is going to look like to start the game, and we're confident with the group that we're going to have out there to go and put in a strong performance and get us a result.
To begin with, huge shout out to Alec. Hell of a save on the PK. And what a performance from the guys. On the road, it's tough to get points on the road, and to get one here in this environment was incredible. And congrats to Ian for coming in a tough game and getting the job done. And overall, the team did what they needed to do to get this result. It's a huge point.
Tom, at any point in your career, I was trying to look this up during the game, have you been pressed into playing defensively for any kind of extended period of time? Because this isn't even the first time we've seen you do it this year.
No.
Is this the first time of a situation
Yeah,
like this?
first time ever in my career.
And what do you think? I mean, obviously, look, we've observed you working back, giving mind to the defensive aspect of being a forward. But other than that, I mean, do you think that's what maybe the coaching staff saw in you that made them think, hey, well, maybe we could put Dom back
Yeah,
here?
I think that my willingness to work, and the fact that I just want to win no matter where you put me anywhere, and I want to compete, and it might not always be the prettiest, but I'll get the job done. And after this game, I have a newfound respect for all right backs in the league because it's a tough position.
Is instinctively, how different is it? And did you sense that you were maybe just lacking some of those instincts? You have an expertise for playing forward. What can you kind of speak to that?
Yeah, like I said, it's not always going to be pretty. Obviously there were mistakes that I made in the position. It's different because you're seeing the game from a different angle. Usually I'm back to goal or I'm running in behind. Now everything's in front of you. You got a little bit more time on the ball. You're not always getting pressed from the back like you are forward, and so it takes time to get used to that. But it takes practice, and sometimes you just get thrown in and see what you can do.
There's a need at that position going forward here, at least until I guess Alvis gets healthy, right? I take it you wouldn't have qualms about doing this again if necessary.
I just want to do whatever it takes to get points. Wherever you put me, I'll give it my all.
All right, go ahead, Burrow.
Thank you. Dom, what's that like for you going in a situation like that? Do you feel an added sense of pressure, especially when you've got a rookie center back that, wasn't expected to play or start at least, and then just the situation you guys are in defensively right now? How much pressure is that to step into a situation like that?
I wouldn't necessarily call it pressure. I think leading up to the game, it's tough for us to put, a rookie back there and in a big game like this. But I mean, a game like this shows that he's ready. Sometimes you can't baby these guys, and so you got to throw them in and they sink or swim. And Ian held his own. He impressed a lot of people today. And so I think it was more maybe a little bit of nerves prior to the game, but once you're in the game, everybody's locked in. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. If you're in the game, you're there to get the job done, and everybody did it today.
And Coach Noonan called it a good point. You called it a hard-fought point. Just do you feel satisfied just being able to get that clean sheet today?
Yeah. Because if you get a point on the road, it's always great. But realistically, we had a couple chances that we could have put away, and it would have been different. And they had a couple chances too. Sometimes, the ball rolls in your favor and you're one up in the road, and it's great. But it wasn't one of those games. But we managed to do what we needed to do defensively to make sure they didn't score.
Thank you.
All right, we have time for one more. Pat, Laura, if you have one. Pat?
What it looked like Jeff Cameron, his situation was not anticipated coming into today until yesterday. This is a busy period of the schedule now that the Open Cup is back in the picture. I guess, how do you feel about entering this stretch of schedule given the personnel deficits?
It's tough, but it's the nature of our profession. People go down all the time, but that's why you have more than 11 players. People have to step in and get the job done at this point. People that might be coming in and playing more minutes than they anticipated, but again, shout out Ian. He came in and got the job done. And so that kind of sets the tone for other players who are going to come in and have to play minutes. And he set the bar, and we don't want to fall below that now.
For me, it's really special. It was an emotional night. But what I'm taking from it is a big shutout for this defensive group. All 11 players on the field, the 5 that came on the bench, everyone put in a shift, and the shutout is really special to us. It's something that we've deserved for a little while now, and something to build on going into a tough stretch of games.
the PK save. Did you have an idea just of what he was going to do there? And yeah, can you walk me through that?
Yeah, we scout the opposition when they do penalties. We have an idea of the trends that they have. And then after that, it's up to whoever's in goal to make a decision. We're more or less an educated guess on what we think the attacker is going to do. And thankfully, I guess the right way, and that's where he put it.
Laurel, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, congratulations on the clean sheet. I guess just with the defense in front of you, you weren't necessarily expecting Ian in there today. Dom Badji playing a new role. Just what was that like? Just managing those guys, a completely different group than you've had previously.
There's not a ton of managing to be done. Ian played like a man out there. He looked like he belonged. It's not easy to come into this environment and perform like that. He should be super proud of the way that he handled himself in the game. Same for Dom. Guys are pitching in positions that they're not super familiar with. And that's what it's about, being a team and being unselfish and putting in a shift in a position that you're not, necessarily comfortable in. But he was great. He made a couple huge clearances down the stretch to keep the score 0-0.
And then just what does this result mean for you guys? Just, Atlanta, they're in 4th place right now. It's tough going on the road and playing there. Just, I know Coach Noonan called it gutsy. People have called it a hard fought point. What do you make of just the overall result and what it means for you guys?
Yeah, it's a huge positive to build on. Like I said, we're going into a difficult stretch of games. And I've been saying it since preseason, if you keep a 0 on your end of the scoreboard, then you give yourself a chance to at least get a point out of every game. So if we can continue to do that, we'll be in good shape as the season progresses.
Alec, I couldn't help but think of you when Brad went down. You guys were battery mates for years. What are your thoughts on, it looked bad. We just obviously I'm sure your heart goes out to him.
Yeah, as a colleague, as a teammate, he's as good as they get. Absolute class act. And when he was playing and I was not, I rooted for him every single game, and I still do. So to watch him go down with what looks like a bad injury, I'm gutted for him. I just hope that he can come back from this and continue to play at the level he's played at for the last 10, 15 years.
One more, Laurel, if you have it.
I guess just with the Open Cup coming up, what are your thoughts on that and just the group that you guys have? You guys didn't even have a full bench tonight. Is that concerning for you guys going ahead? Just what do you think of just managing this stretch?
Yeah, I think when you go into a difficult stretch like this, the key is to take it game by game. So, now that this game is over, we'll start thinking about Pittsburgh on Tuesday. Whoever steps on the field in that game is going to represent the club well, and hopefully we can progress in that tournament.